You are now watching Believe. Do you believe?
This week, we're happy to welcome on one of the most popular guys in New York sports, someone anyone who follows sports should be familiar with, the host of the New York podcast, JJ, also known as JJ, but John Jastremski. What's going on, dude? It's nice to have the face of New York on here.
It's very kind. I love that introduction. It's a pleasure to be on with you boys. Little later than we anticipated because, the New York Mets had to go extra innings against the Dodgers. And, that's the way it works on a Sunday when you think you have everything perfectly drawn out. But my pleasure. Happy to be on, boys.
No days off. No days off. You know the vibes. But speaking of vibes, right now I can't think of a better vibe in New York City than with everything going on in sports right now. I mean, the Mets are rolling, Yankees are rolling, and the Rangers are up 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Final. Can you ask for a better start to the summer in New York City?
No. And, you think about COVID the last 2 years and you think about like empty arenas and empty stadiums. So like the idea that like the Garden is rocking, the bars around Madison Square Garden are rocking. You got two first place baseball teams. The Yankees have been unbelievable all year. The Mets are doing a whale of a job getting a split against the Dodgers. Like having all of that go in New York, like it's just like you feed off of the energy. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. Like the Rangers too, like full disclosure, I don't do a lot of regular season hockey on my podcast. I just don't. It is what it is. It's one of those things that we kind of parachute in on late in the game. And dude, every year I say it, I'm watching the postseason. I'm like captivated by the postseason. And I'm like, shit, how do I not watch more regular season hockey? This is so much fun. I have been so into it. It's been fantastic.
Yeah. Postseason hockey kind of hits different. Yeah. It's just like every game is pretty much must watch. And it is really crazy. I mean, I can't remember a time as of recent where so many New York teams have been this good, like at the same time right now. And I feel like I was saying it's Johnny, New York needs a championship. Like I think the whole city is ready to take whatever they can get. But transitioning a little bit into the Rangers, what has surprised you most about this, unexpected deep playoff run from the Rangers?
The intestinal fortitude of the team, because normally, guys, that's something that's got to like grow over time. You kind of have to build that. This is a super young team. Yeah. So I guess the expectation, and you guys can speak and jump in on this, I kind of figured first round, Pittsburgh's old, they're beat up. That's a series they should win. Right. After that, anything you get out of the Rangers is house money. Well, Igor looks shook in game 3 and game 4. They're down 3-1. They come back, they rally, and they win that series. Carolina owned them in the regular season all year. They're down 3-2. They can't win in Carolina. They smoke them in game 6. They smoke them in game 7. So I guess for me, the two big takeaways is that, one, they're ahead of schedule, and two, they're a lot tougher than I ever could have imagined for a team being as young as they are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right.
Well, now I'll go full disclosure. I'm not a big baseball guy at all. I root for the Mets, but I'm not like a Mets fan by any means. But from what I remember with the Yankees, Aaron Judge's like rookie year, is it a similar vibe to that team? Because I know that team went pretty far in what was kind of a sped up little.
I like that comparison. Well. I like that comparison.
And I don't know shit, so that's a pretty good comparison.
No, that's good. I give you credit there, Johnny. Well done. Honestly, I like that one more than even the Mets in 2015 because the Rangers had kind of been building towards this in the way the Yankees had kind of been building towards it with their baby bombers, right? Like they heard so much about the young guys. And it's the idea of the Rangers and the Yankees doing it like a different way. Like we're not used to talking about the Yankee young players being their straw that stirs the drink, even though if you think about the 90s and Jeter and Bernie and Andy Pettit on and on, they're all homegrown. But it's New York and it's this, the empire and all the money that they spend. So like there's this misconception, the Yankees, they buy. That's how they get good. And the Rangers, listen, the Rangers always had this narrative of, they're the New York team. They're going to be in on a big trade. They're going to be in on free agency. And the salary cap has kind of changed that. Like the salary cap made the Rangers right before, right after that lockout in the Lundqvist regime, they had to develop. They had to start relying on young talent a lot more. That era kind of ran its course. Then you have this new era of Rangers hockey. But last year, guys, they weren't in the postseason.
Yeah.
They fired their head coach. JD's out the door. A lot of people are wondering, is there all sorts of dysfunction going on within the organization? And this is a feel-good year. The team is super young. Their power play is awesome. They're a tremendous, tremendous team to watch.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember when everybody was saying, "Oh, Tom Wilson broke the Rangers. Tom Wilson broke the Rangers," and now here we are. And yeah, that was a good Yankee comparison, Johnny. I love that. Hopefully we have a a different outcome in mind than Game 7 ALCS loss that still stings me today from 2017. But so the Rangers played today, and they lost 3-2, close game. What mentality would you bring to Game 4 in Tampa if you're the Rangers to try and steal a game here so that we can go up 3-1 going back into New York?
Guys, pretty simplistic from what I saw in Game 3. Stay the hell out of the penalty box.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset about the calls. You're always going to bitch about officiating when you lose. That's just the way it is. Trouba's got to be smarter. That's what it boils down to. And you allow Tampa Bay to get right back in the game. Like, the Ranger power play is so good. You want to maximize every single one of those opportunities. And the Ranger power play, once again, was terrific. Even though they had the 4-minute power play and they didn't score, they still go and get a couple of goals. 5-on-5, third period, they looked like a team that was just kind of falling backwards in many ways. And maybe it was the desperation of Tampa, but I just kept waiting for Igor to go and give up a goal. For as good as he was playing, for as dominant as he looked, for as well as he was playing, I just kind of had a feeling with the way those final 8 minutes are going. I'm like, Rangers are not winning this game.
Yeah, they controlled the tempo the whole third period. So it's like, you have your backs against the wall. Eventually it's going to kind of cave in. So I agree with that.
Yeah, it felt a lot like Game 1 of Carolina, that series, when they played really well in the first two periods and then they just sat back and they played not to lose instead of playing to win. I feel like in that third period in that Game 1, and that's what it felt like tonight. But JJ, I do have a bone to pick with you because I think a year ago,
many do.
A year ago, no, you posted your top 10 New York sports.
Oh, I know where we're going with this. Yeah, I know where we're going.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Foxy was left off that list.
Well, listen, you got to understand something with these lists now. Number one, I try to do the best that I can in representing all of the New York teams. That may be stupid on my behalf, but it's kind of like in the All-Star game when you have to have a representative at every All-Star game that they could tip the cap and, wave to the crowd, the whole deal. That was me. As I'm putting a list together, I'm like, I'm going to try and get a Jet, even if I shouldn't. I'm going to try and get an Islander player, which was very on point last year because they were playing in the conference finals, and I felt they deserved love. Fox is an absolute stud. And the problem I'm going to run into this year is that I don't want the list to just turn into a baseball, hockey, Kevin Durant list, because that's well, I'll tell you this, Julius Randle's fat ass is off the list after last year. My goodness, after he played out of his mind 2 years ago, his ass is off this year. So there's one spot. So, I mean, maybe we'll find another. I don't know.
When are you posting that?
We'll do it the same time we did last year. I think we did it in the dog days of August. So dog days of August.
I'm excited to see that one.
Okay. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I was going to say, I hope a few more Rangers are on the list this year.
Well, listen, Shesterkin, off the top of my head, see, here's the problem. I can't put 4 Rangers on the list, right?
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. So if I'm only going to put 3 on the list, Igor's got to be there.
Yeah.
Panarin's got to be there, right?
Yeah.
Do we go Zibanejad at Fox?
I was thinking Mika. I don't know.
It's tough.
Is it all recency bias?
Mika's been better in the postseason.
Is it recency bias or is it career? What's
a little bit of both?
You got to take both into consideration.
I mean, I think it's both. Listen, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't have strict criteria on this. It's kind of
so then is DeGrom not on it because we haven't seen him this year? I don't
Well, DeGrom, I think DeGrom was our number 1 athlete last year.
I think he is.
I think Aaron Judge might be moving in that list with the way he's playing this year. But
I don't know if you can leave Nestor Cortez off that list.
I know a big Nestor might have to be on there. The turtle, I know.
I love some Nestor Cortez. It's great.
But doesn't it go to show you though the good problem you have within the New York Rangers, where you're talking about 4 or 5 cornerstone type guys. We didn't even mention Kreider scored 50-something goals this year.
Yeah.
That's actually something I said in the last episode. My cousin and I, his name's Jason Bisnoff, shout out to him. But we've been saying that this was the team that Henrik Lundqvist deserved, So much skill.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, listen, you think about the way Lundqvist had to play games. It was ugly. It was grinded out. It was defense. It was this team. Now they have some quality defensive players, but this team is so much more enjoyable to watch. From an offensive standpoint. It's not even close.
Just pure talent.
Yeah. Especially since they're so young. I feel like they have so much time now, that Rangers team with Hank was getting older and older with, Girardi and Stahl and all those guys. But yeah, so the kid line for the Rangers has been a major success throughout these playoffs. What do you think's been the driving force to make this line's chemistry so great?
It's a great question. And it's funny. I got asked on television the other night about now looking at the kid line as something you can count on. I'm like, that's like at the beginning of the postseason, it was kind of like a surprise. Like, oh, you're getting this unbelievable production. They're the best line that you saw for basically 4 or 5 games within the Pittsburgh series before Mika really got cooking and had the hat trick in game 6. But guys, I expect them to play well. I don't care how young they are. They got a good chemistry. Philip Hedl has been in the middle of everything. He's had a ton of goals. Lafreniere has been great. Kakko's been great. So I'm now looking at Ranger playoff games, and when the kid line is getting out on the ice, I expect them to bring it. How can you not?
Yeah, I feel like that line's getting out of all 4 lines. I feel like they're getting the notorious name for most famous through these playoffs because they're just playing so well.
They've earned it.
It's also nuts that they're 22, 20, and
crazy,
19.
Crazy.
They can't even buy a beer. Yeah.
I mean, who's the youngest of the Lafreniere?
Lafreniere. He's 19.
Yeah, he's 20.
He's 19. I knew he was young. He's
20.
Jeez, man.
I mean, I literally.
So he needs me to go get him a 6-pack of Michelob.
That's what I was going to say. I think I tweeted that after Game 7 of the.
He might be Natty Ice.
I was like, Lafreniere.
No, he's come on. We got to class it up for him. No. He's playing in the NHL. I know. I know he's not getting those baseball salaries, but come on, he can't be drinking Natty Ice anymore. No way.
We'll upgrade him to Stella's.
There you go.
Laugh.
Keep it classy.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's funny. But I guess back to just the overall New York sports realm. Obviously, there is, like I said before, recency bias with the Rangers right now. But who do you think will be that first team to break this 10-year drought of a championship?
Wow, that's a great question. You'd have to say, as we sit here on what's today's date, June the 5th.
Yeah,
the Rangers are the closest. I mean, technically speaking, they are 6 wins away from a Stanley Cup. So I'm going to give them the nod, even if Colorado is going to be too much for them to handle. And listen, let's get there first. The Rangers got to win two more games against a really tough, ballsy, 2-time defending Stanley Cup champ. So I'm not putting the Rangers in the Stanley Cup final yet. But I think when you're playing in the conference final, you get that nod. And then, guys, honestly, I think it's a dead heat. And this is not a cop-out answer in any way. The Yankees and the Mets are both really, really good. And I don't know if I can handle a Subway Series for my sanity.
For World Series, you're saying? Don't.
No, I don't want. I want no part of playing the Mets. I want no part of playing the Mets. Let me tell you something. There is nothing to gain for the Yankees playing the Mets as far as dynamics go. The Yankees have a 1 in 12, 13 years. That's great. The idea of losing to the Mets in the World Series, there's 2004. No, they're on the same stratosphere, dude. It's 1 and 1A. And in some ways, it will be more insufferable for a Yankee fan because, 2004, how many New Yorkers are dealing with Red Sox fans walking around the boroughs or walking around wherever they live? The Met fan is going to be in your face. They're going to let you know it. They're going to bother you. So I don't need that. There's reward there, but there's just way too much risk. So I would rather not lose to the Mets in the World Series.
I'm right there with you. And it's also the fact that we literally haven't been back there in 13 years. So it's been a long time coming.
Well, and that's the thing. If the Yankees go back, I want to enjoy it. Yankees, Dodgers, Yankees, Brewers. I am not going to enjoy playing the Mets in the World Series. The city might. Other people might. I am not going to enjoy it. It's going to make me sick.
Yeah. It would be tough because, the victory would taste very sweet, but then the loss would sting for a very, very long time. So I think I'm there with you.
I just want to ask a follow-up on that, though. Which team do you think would have the coolest parade?
Out of any of the teams?
Out of any of them. Because I've been trying to think
Hold
about
on, we
it too,
talking
like
about any of the New York teams?
well, like if Brooklyn won or the Islanders won, where the fuck are they doing their parade? I have no idea.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know. Brooklyn probably would have done something in Brooklyn, like Atlantic Avenue in my neck of the woods. I don't live near Barclays, but maybe they do the half marathon little trek that I did a few weeks ago. Maybe they make that their parade route. I don't know. But I would say the craziest parade, 2 teams.
Knicks. Yeah.
The Jets.
The Jets.
That's a great answer. I'm a suffering Jets fan as well.
I think it would be Knicks 1, Jets 2.
Just because of how long, like
it's been a while.
Fans, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
one for 50 years.
I think a Met or a Yankee parade or a Ranger parade would be off the rails as well. I mean, any parade is off the rails, but the craziest, Nick Jet, because a lot of people think it's never happening. Myself included.
We also had a parade after the season opener this year for the Knicks.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Bing bong.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I feel like there's a Jets or Knicks parade. I mean, you're talking, full police force out there arresting people and just full on madness for the entire city. So that would be
You might see me climbing up at one of those light poles. I don't know. I might even do that for a Knick parade.
There was someone in Edmonton last night sitting on like the Wayne Gretzky Stanley Cup statue.
I saw that,
like,
riding it.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I mean, I got to wonder how many Molsons deep they were in order to do that. I mean, just wondering.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. I'm going to rattle off a few random phrases for you here, and I want you to tell me which player on the Rangers you think should be most associated with each phrase.
Oh, I like this. This is fun. Yeah.
On house arrest.
Jacob Trouba.
Is that who you said?
That's it. That's right. Broadway bully.
Oh. Miller.
All right. Shooting star.
Oh. I could go a lot of different ways here.
That's
shooting star, Zibanejad.
That's what we said. Yeah.
The train's engine.
Panarin.
All right. And the last one, amusement park.
Filipino.
All right.
Oh, that's fun to
watch.
I'm annoyed I didn't get Igor in there. I guess I could have gone to Igor instead of doing Panarin, but first answer that came to mind.
Yeah,
well,
that's
funny. It's funny how you interpreted it because like he asked me and I interpret everything so much differently. I feel like Cody.
Yeah, tell him what you said, John, and then I'll.
Well, for house arrest, I was thinking like, don't let him fucking out, and that was Greg McKegg.
Yeah, and I said Keandre Miller because he's a stay-at-home defenseman and he's not leaving the house. So it's interesting how you interpret that. I think Broadway bully. I said
Trouba for that.
You said
you could have flip-flopped them. Thinking about it that way, I could have flip-flopped them. But I also didn't know what was coming next. That's also the key.
Exactly. Shooting star, I went the same as you. Amusement park, Filipinos, great. And train's engine, I think I went Igor because he's, the guy.
Igor. Igor or Panarin setting guys up. I like shooting star up as a Zibanejad. I like that. That's
Johnny, you said Lindgren, right?
I said Lindgren for the train engine.
Engine
doesn't really make that much sense, but like,
he's a catalyst. He makes the train go.
He's more of like a punching bag.
Just taking hits.
A respectful one though, I guess. But JJ, you cool with like one more question each?
Yeah.
Cody, you want to go? You want me to go?
All right. Yeah, I'll go. I had to get a Yankees question in here. 2-parter. I know you're a Yankee fan. I'm a big Yanks guy myself. So one, how are you feeling about the boys this year? And who's the, one player you want Cashman to grab at the deadline that you think can help put the team over the top? And then the second part is thoughts on the whole Judge situation.
Wow. Okay. So I feel great about the team. I was really down on them last year. I wanted some serious change last year. It was a miserable season. It was a joyless season. The end of the year made me absolutely sick. I like the fact that this team plays better defense. They run the bases a lot better. They're more balanced, and their pitching is carrying them. The pitching has been the best in the American League, hands down. So I'm a believer in this Yankee team. That's number one. Number two, trade deadline. They need a left-handed outfielder. Joey Gallo stinks. Send him to the moon. DFA his ass. There are certain guys who are just incapable of playing in New York. He is one of those guys that's incapable of playing in New York. So the guy I want on the team that would fit him perfectly is Andrew Benintendi.
My man.
I mean, and now I feel like that is.
I told that to Johnny too.
I said that last year before they got Joey Gallo. Yeah. He's a former Red Sox. That would bother him. He puts the bat on the ball. He's
Yep.
speedy, plays good defense. He'd be perfect. He would be legitimately perfect for the Yankees. So I hope they get that done. Cashman, though, usually doesn't give you the answer you're looking for.
Nope.
So I do think they'll get an outfielder. I think it will be somebody where you're like, okay. You know, like Jameson Taillon came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Clay Holmes came out of nowhere. That's kind of more the Brian Cashman MO. As far as Judge, look, I was fine with the contract they offered him before opening day. It was fair. It was basically a reasonable offer.
Right.
But he said, I'm going to bet on myself. Right now, he's bet on himself, and he's coming up aces. So we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. I'm not – let's put it this way with Judge. There's no point now in getting to a negotiating table and start talking. Like, his value from his standpoint could not be any higher. Is he going to get hurt? Is he going to slump? How is the second half of the year going to go? Hope it's a storybook year. The Yankees win the World Series or go to it, and he plays great, and you pay him.
Right.
I'm not worried about him leaving. The Yankees know how important he is. He's the marketing, the judges' chambers. When they want somebody, tell me the guy the Yankees have lost out on that they really, really wanted. And it's not Robinson Cano, because they didn't really want Robinson Cano. They gave him a half-hearted offer. They really didn't want him. When they want somebody, they get him. Case closed. So I'm not worried about the Judge stuff. It's just going to cost them a lot more money.
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you. He's the unwritten captain for this team, and they need him. He, like you said, he really goes far in terms of marketing and stuff. And listen, the guy bet on himself, and it's working out. But the thing I'm afraid with him is that another team's going to jump in and offer him that, $300 million or something crazy. And like, do you want to pay a guy 8 years until he's 38? Probably not.
But you have to do it. But it's one of those things, like, it sucks, and it's probably not going to end well, and it's not going to age well. You're the Yankees. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain guys you're going to have to deal with the back end of a bad contract. And
it's like Kreider, no? Probably.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Judge is one of those guys. So be it. So be it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And I love the Benintendi pick. I've been talking about him for so long. He was a Yankee killer, and I would love him on the team. He's crushing it for the Royals. And then the other guy I like is also Ian Happ as well.
Yeah, he's a good player. Good player. Strikes out a little bit too much for my liking, but good player.
The guy I'm in love with is Brian Reynolds, but he's not getting moved. But
if I'm the Pirates, there's no way in the world I'm dealing with the Yankees. After Jameson, Taillon, and Clay Holmes, no, you're off limits. We're not talking shop anymore.
I know. All right, that's great. All right, Johnny, all you. Johnny's like, oh
I just don't know shit about baseball, but I'll kind of keep the vibe. I'll keep the vibe going a little bit, though, I guess. Somewhat baseball vibe. I know, JJ, you're obviously like a big Yankees guy, so a lot of Ranger fans have been fired up with all the celebrities that are showing up at MSG for these games. I guess if the Yankees are in the World Series, who would fire you up the most in the crowd as like a New York City celebrity cheering on the Yankees?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't know if there's one particular celebrity for me that's like that's gonna get me to another level. Like, I always think it's cool when you see the guys at the game now, like drinking beers. Yeah. I mean, the next time, let's get the Yankees a full of beer. Like,
what the hell is that?
Well, I think it boils down to they didn't know they were going to be on camera. Mm-hmm. They spotted Rizzo and Judge and DJ LeMahieu, and they're at the game. They're sipping a little bit, and you're not going to like, hey, let's rush them over full beers before we put them on the jumbotron. I love seeing at the Ranger games, Mrs. Maisel. Do you guys watch Mrs. Maisel on Amazon?
I don't know.
She's a badass. She's fantastic. Yeah, Rachel Brosnahan. She's like in all the games.
Yeah,
but the guy that actually would fire me up the most, now that I'm thinking about this, at a Yankee game, Jack Nicholson.
Oh, that's a great one. It has to be a fan.
If you tell me Jack is sitting there with like the Yankee hat on, the front row, and the sunglasses, like, I know Jack's a Hollywood guy. I know he's a Laker guy. He's identified with the Lakers in courtside. Jack's a big Yankee fan. The Departed, I don't know if you guys know this.
Anger Management, too.
Best movie ever.
Anger Management, big Yankee scene. Departed, Boston movie. Leo had the Boston hat on, like Matt Damon did. They asked Jack, are you wearing the Boston hat? He said, fuck that. I'm not wearing the Boston hat. So, like, when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, that's my dude. So Jack Nicholson would be my celebrity answer.
It's fun. Cool. It's so funny you say that, because I'm going on the other side of the coin, and I would love to see Adam Sandler because he's a Yankee fan.
True. True.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Adam can find some time. I know he's got a Netflix movie coming out, but
every
October
year.
in the World Series, get his ass to the Bronx. Agree.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things I think about the Ranger playoff run as well was I think it was game 6. The Yankees got rained out and Rizzo was fucking.
How about Rizzo getting the Yankees
crazy.
team? And
That was crazy.
you know what though? 8:00 at night, the traffic. I don't know if do you guys live in New York right now? Or you guys on the outskirts?
Yeah.
Okay. The traffic in New York around the city dies down considerably at around 7:45. So if you're traveling from the Bronx to Manhattan, Rizzo probably got there in about 25 minutes.
I just think it's unreal.
Yeah. That was game 1, Johnny.
Hey.
It was game 1.
Yeah.
Probably didn't even shower. Probably said, hey, I didn't play. Let me throw on a shirt, pair of jeans. I don't know if he drove, took car service, whatever. And he's at the Garden. We love that commitment.
That was awesome.
I love that stuff. I really do.
But I guess before we let you go, we want to give you a minute to, plug your stuff. And then I also do want to ask you your final prediction on the outcome of the Eastern Conference Final.
Well, I appreciate that. Look, New York, we go live on Spotify Live after all the games. We post them as a pod too. But if you're looking to call in right after the game, super easy. We're rocking and rolling with that. We've been doing it with the baseball. But my pod is New York on the Ringer. Find on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. Nightly, you guys could probably see I have smudges of makeup on right now. That's what happens when I do my own makeup.
I had some too covering this pimple.
Do you do your own makeup or you have somebody doing it for you?
JSB actually helped me out in the studio today.
Well, Julie Stewart-Banks, one of the all-time greats, number 1. Number 2 is my fiance has been doing my makeup for a while in this like COVID world.
You are
now she's kind of like accelerated me into doing it myself. So now I do my own makeup, and when she's not home, sometimes that does. No, it's not that impressive. I do it terrible. Yeah,
well, you look great.
We did all right. SNY, Monday to Friday on Geico Sports Night. And what else do I have to plug? Yeah, that sounds about right. New York, SNY, good enough.
Love it. Rangers in 7, or what do you think?
I did not like the Rangers' chances going into the series, full disclosure. I thought they were going to lose in 6 games. I thought they were going to give you good effort. I thought it was going to be hard fought, but I thought the team that had won back-to-back cups was going to find a way to win. I'm backing off that, guys. I have seen enough from the Rangers now. I think they're going to win this series. Mm-hmm. Now, I do not think it's going to be easy. I would not be surprised if they go in and lose game number 4. I think we're looking at a 7-game series, and the team that finds ways to win game 7s gets a little revenge for 2015. Mm-hmm. Rangers in 7.
I love it.
Love that.
Well, thank you, JJ. Really appreciate you, sticking around till 11:30 at night here. And I know my boy
it's early for me, guys. You kidding me? Normally, I'm just signing
Johnny's
off TV at this rate.
So hit the bench press.
I wish I had. The problem is I have a golf outing in about 8.5 hours. So that's a story for a different day. That you want to talk about another struggle in life? Try to hit a golf ball. That's another struggle in life. Guys, you're doing a great job. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Thank
and you know where to find me. Later.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Thank you for watching Believe. You can find more great content at Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Do you believe?